We're summing up the study of the book of Jeremiah, and the natural question is, what have we learned? What are we going to take away from this study? So for this week, we're looking at lessons from Jeremiah.
Too many and too important.
And I'm sure that we all took different things that are close to our heart and personal experience, but the author suggests few main areas. And the first one is about the God of Jeremiah.
And the nature of God, God's character and his position in life. And Jeremiah presented God as a potter, tender, creative, able to do anything. But also he presented him as someone who brings justice. Justice even in the midst of his people.
We're given the liberty to choose our perspective, and God can be perceived by some in many of these cases as vindictive, punishing, even cruel with Jeremiah, if we are honest. But what I see is a God that is hurting. He's trying the impossible to give yet another chance to those that have committed to walk together with him. Even when they had to pass through destruction, it was about giving them hope. The problem though is that the people were not in for such a relationship. It was more like, God, tell us what you expect from us and we will try to do it. Then leave us alone.
Man's versus God's religion. Man-made rules and guidance versus God's instructions and leadership. The choice is always between the two. Jeremiah's life, the history of Judah sent to Babylon, prove one point: either or. Both cannot be followed, cannot be observed, cannot be blended in the nation's life as well as in the individual life.
We are good politicians, exercising damage control, creating perceptions in order to make things working for us. But how about God? Was he concerned just about the high classes and the nation as a whole? He didn't care much about Jeremiah, did he?
When reading his book, somebody might think that when Jeremiah had all these visions, he might have seen or read the gospel story. And let me explain. Regardless of the mass appeal that he had to the spiritual leaders, the kings and the officers, Jeremiah had also a personal appeal to the individual in regards of their personal relationship and worship to the Lord. Jeremiah found that salvation is in the heart of the individual.
We have value collectively and as individuals. But we are not very smart. We are often very superstitious and attribute our successes to idols and our failures to God.
So idols versus God. Idols somehow succeed in leading us away from God. And the reason is simple. At some point we have to make decisions, we have to make choices. And whatever is close to and has grown in our hearts, we hold on to it. So don't expect miracles from yourself when you're in crisis. After all, you are who you are.
At the end of the study, one would think that the whole story is a failure. Israel is destroyed, the nation is still stubborn, nothing worked.
The best of all promises from Jeremiah comes with the promise for the future, that God will gather a remnant that will be fruitful and will increase despite the big crisis they have gone through. With it comes a promise, not fulfilled yet, that the remnant will grow and will be safe in his land.
And this is where the lesson becomes so personal, because it's our turn now, it's our choice. Will we be part of the rebuilding and the return from exile?